Hey everybody, welcome to our Wednesday night Zoom chat. We have an amazing Sapphire special guest, Danielle Pulley. I'm so excited to have her here to share her tips and kind of what she did to achieve Emerald in 5 months and Sapphire in 9 months. Like, that's insane momentum and growth. And she's super excited to share with our team and has given up some of her baby time because she's got lots of kiddos. I'm going to turn it over to her, and I'm going to let her tell her a little bit about her story, and then she's going to jump on in. So, Danielle, take it away, girl.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here tonight. You guys have an amazing leader. She is just fearless. So I feel very honored to be here to talk to you guys about my story a little bit. So like Emily said, I went Emerald in 5 months, Sapphire in 9. I have 3-year-old triplets and a new baby. Well, I say new. He was new when I started my journey. I'm actually going on 1 year with Plexus in a couple of weeks. It'll be my 1-year anniversary. But my youngest is 15 months. And there's a couple things that she wanted me to talk to you guys about, and it all kind of ties into my testimony. One of the things being, why is this a relationship market? And I really think that had a lot to do with my quick success. Relationships are so important in this, guys. So a little bit about me. I was a labor and delivery nurse. My husband's in full-time school to be a physical therapist. He's about to graduate. And money was very tight. I took care of the kids solely by myself. We had jumped around to different areas to move for rotations and things like that. And I had quit my job, stayed home with the kids so that I wouldn't miss out on those years of their life, and to support my husband, he was the priority to get through school. I was very tired, very run down, wasn't sleeping at night. Just a whole lot of things that come with being a mom, and whether that's 1 kid, 3 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids, it's tough on us. It's tough on our bodies. And I was very, very skeptical. So I took about 1.5 years to actually start Plexus, and I told my sponsor no twice. And then I tried other things, and when I finally came back and decided to do it, I had done all this research on the products, and I was ready to go. And it's all about timing. So I say that I wanted to make sure I told y'all that, because those people are out there. You've got to go out and plant those seeds. You've got to shoot for no's. You've got to go reach out to people, and don't be afraid to get no's. Get no's, because I told my sponsor no twice, and I wasn't ready. Had I started 1 year ago or 1.5 years prior, that whole waiting period for myself, I know I wouldn't have done well, as well as I did, I should say. I was ready. It's about everyone's timing. So keep planting those seeds. Keep private messaging people. Keep reaching out. It's so, so important. But it is a relationship. We're in a relationship business. It is so, so important to care about people, to actually value people, and go and make friendships that are non-Plexus related. And the most important thing that I like to tell people, that I really feel like drove my when I first started, was that belief, because I'd done all that research on the products. And I knew what the products could do. I had this light bulb go off in my head, and I knew about 10, 20, 30 people that could benefit from the products, and I just took off. I kind of went in all these different directions. I didn't really, like a chicken with its head cut off, just was telling everyone about it. But my sentences might not have made sense, but I had that belief, and people were like, okay, I want whatever you're taking. I don't care what it is. Doesn't really make sense what you're saying, but I can feel your belief. So belief is so important. People are going to buy what you believe before they buy the product that you're selling. It's really how our brains work. You have different layers to your brain, and there's a part in your brain that has to do with belief. And that same part of your brain that has to do with belief is the same part that makes decisions. So take 2 different conversations with someone. You could go after them and say, you can have all this product knowledge. You could say, the Triplex has chromium, or the Slim has chromium. It's got alpha lipoic acid. It's really good. It's anti-inflammatory. BioCleanse does this. ProBio does that. Or you could say, I believe in health and wellness. I believe that there is something very, very important with plant-based nutrition. We have Nature's Pharmacy all around us. I believe that there's something really honorable for those who want to stay home and help support their family at the same time. I believe that network marketing is the future. I think it's a very, very smart business opportunity for people. And then you can go in and talk about what you're taking, why you're taking, but people are going to be sold because of what you believe versus how much you know about the products and product knowledge. That's and so lead with your belief. You take Martin Luther King, you take Hitler, you take all these huge leaders, Abraham Lincoln. People sacrificed their life because they decided to follow them because of what they believed, not necessarily what they were selling. They believed the same things. You hear Martin Luther King, I have a dream, what he dreams. It's really ultimately what he believes. People are willing to sacrifice their life for what they believe. So always lead with your belief. The other thing, I kind of mentioned this, is do you add value to people? Adding value to people, what does that mean? There's 4 different ways that you can add value to people. We add value to people when we truly value others. So when we serve people, I have notes down here, so excuse me for looking down. And when we make ourselves more valuable to others, that's another way that we add value to people. So the more you continue to pursue personal growth, the more you will continue to have to offer to other people. So focus on personal growth, and what we're all always growing. Plexus is so much more than promoting a product. You are growing yourself. You're overcoming fears. You're making new relationships. You're becoming a leader. So embrace those things. And the more that you can personally grow, the more you're going to have to offer, and the more valuable you will be able to be, and that's how you add value to those people. The third thing is know and relate to what others value. How do we know what other people value? We listen. So do more listening than you do talking. And this is something that I believe in, so you guys can kind of speed past this value, but to me, it's non-negotiable. Do things that God values. He says, I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was homeless and you gave me clothes. I was sick and you stopped to visit. I was in prison and you came to me. So do things that God values. That's important to me. So add value to people. So all those things, that's how this is a relationship business. How does your Facebook page look? Are you sharing a bunch of stuff? Are you showing things that if you are saying that you value health and wellness, are you posting things about health and wellness, or are you posting things about donuts and candy? Are you or coffee? Whatever it is, you want to be a product of the product. Let your Facebook page show who you are and that you care about people, whatever that is. Make friends and not talk about Plexus, because there are more things to life than Plexus, but that will ultimately help in your success with Plexus. The other thing that Emily asked me to talk about was, what do I do when I personally sponsor someone? So I know that everyone's going to do things differently, and I've changed what I do on my course and on my journey, but this is what's really working for us right now. Right away, I encourage everyone to share their testimony. I do not even try to get them to wait to have a testimony. As soon as they say they want to wait for a testimony, I didn't wait for a testimony. And I fast-tracked gold. I almost fast-tracked senior gold. So that was all personally sponsored. So I plant that seed. I let them know that it's very possible to fast-track gold, but they have to start sharing from day one. And then something that I like to tell them is, so you're waiting for a testimony. You're wanting to find energy in weight loss, for example. Well, what if someone else is looking for better sleep? You're not going to have a testimony for that if you don't struggle with that, but it can help with those things. So the weight is off your shoulders. You don't have to wait for that testimony. You can say, Plexus, hey guys, for your first post, if those people are afraid of Facebook posting, I was super afraid of that. One post a day, scared me out of my mind. But it gave I took 2 weeks and I was all in. So I do understand how it can be fearful for a lot of people. So I let them know it can just be, phone calls and messages with your warm market. It doesn't have to be Facebook, but if you want to make that first Facebook post, you can say that, Plexus helps with XYZ ways, and you're hoping to find it relief in XYZ ways. You're not saying that it does or doesn't work. It's just incredible products that have helped hundreds and thousands of people. And why not give it a shot? So I encourage that. I set up the right expectations. I let them know what to expect, how things are going to work. This is crucial. I get on the phone with those people. Voice memos are on the phone right away, and I pour in these 4 beliefs into every single one of them. The belief in the products, the belief in network marketing, the belief in our company, and the belief in yourself. That is so important. And so how I do that is I send a message and I'll say, I'm so excited for you, girl. These are amazing products. I've personally seen them help thousands of people. They help with they can help people with X, Y, Z. I've seen it help with X, Y, Z. This is how it works. We even have a 60-day money back guarantee, and hardly anybody uses that. So you're planting those seeds. You're not saying, it's not like a training. You are just being a real person with them. You're valuing them. You're adding value to them by telling them how they can believe in themselves. You're creating that relationship. You're pouring belief into them. That's because when they first start and they're saying, okay, I am interested in the business, but they're kind of like, I'm not quite sure. You want to run full force with that. So whenever you plant those seeds, they will always hear that message. They will remember that's what you said. That's the first thing that they see or hear or whatever. Those people that say that they're interested in the business and you say, okay, I'll give you like a week or 2. Well, that excitement can die. It can fade. It can come back for sure. But it's just, I feel like personally from what I've seen, it's best practice to just do everything you can to help them. Let them see this amazing opportunity that is Plexus, the business opportunity, the health opportunity to feel better. Share your testimony, share other testimonies, get some diamond documentaries on board. Do everything you can from day one to pour that belief into them. I hold their hand. We do 3-way chats. We actually have a training page that's worked really, really well. We have a training page solely full of videos, numbered 1 through 25. We add them to this page, and it runs itself. And then we have a team page. We have files. So that really helps with duplicating training, because you always want to make sure you're duplicating that training down and it's not getting stuck somewhere. Another thing that we do that is working really well is doing prospect calls once a week. So these are really great for those who have tried a slim sample. They might have a huge network to get that they want to share it with, or maybe see if this is something that they want to do business-wise, but they don't have a testimony yet. You can set up a Zoom once a week. Sundays are really good, Sunday afternoons, and get on the call. They will invite these people throughout the week. Get on the call. If you invite 3 people a day, that's 15 people a week. You're probably going to see about 2 to 4 people show up, depending on if they've been doing the business longer, or if they're just starting, they'll have more, most likely. And then it takes the weight off of their shoulders to deliver the message. In network marketing, it's very important to bring the message to the person. Don't be the message. It's kind of that third-party validation where they could be hearing it from the same person. So if I was talking to my mom and I was telling my mom about these products, if someone else comes in and says the exact same thing that I did, especially with family, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And you're like, oh, what am I, chopped liver? But that's just the way our brains work. So these Zooms are really good to get people in on the calls. They're very casual. They're about 30 minutes. I can talk to you guys more about that later if you're interested, but those have been really good. We just started those about a month ago, and we've seen a lot of success with that. And that just kind of it helps with training too. So if they're new ambassadors, that helps with them understand, because I come in and I talk about the products, and so they get to hear what the products are like. Those are really, really great. And you're going to get out whatever you pour in. So this might seem like a lot of work. You're like, how much time do you have to do any of this? It's baby steps. Do what you can. It will fall into place. You will be successful as long as you don't give up. Have something that works for you. In time management, that's huge. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is momentum. How do I motivate my team or get that momentum going? And really what this comes down to is leadership. So there's a quote, I love this book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It says that to the law of explosive growth, to add growth, lead followers. To multiply, lead leaders. So ultimately, if you're looking for momentum, so explosive growth, you've really got to focus on leadership. You've got to focus on your personal growth skills and leadership. 85% of people who are great leaders, it was not a natural ability. It was something that they had to learn, but they usually had a leader to look up to, someone who they watched. So learning to be a leader and then letting your team see that you're a leader and then duplicate that down. To be able to go anywhere, you've got to have leadership. The other thing with leadership or with momentum is really, or something that I do with my team is belief. It's so hard to, you have those moments where you're very high on the mountain, and then you have those moments where you're really low in the valley, and you really need to stay focused. So refocusing your team, your leaders, and then obviously duplicating that down and them encouraging their team and their leaders. It's just crucial. There's another quote that I love. I'm going to read it to you guys real quick. It's in this 21 Irrefutable Laws book. And it's about 4 sentences long, so bear with me, but it's really, really good. Basically, before I read this, when it comes to leadership and it comes to vision and belief and refocusing people and pouring that belief into people, I'm sure you guys can all attest to this or have experienced this. How do you get people to catch that vision and to keep doing it? You keep saying it, but how do you get them to do it? And really it comes down to modeling it. You can't tell someone to go and post on Facebook if you're not posting every day. You can't tell your team to go make videos if you're not making videos. So ultimately, whenever you are modeling what you're saying, so you're basically a product of the product in other ways, but you have to be modeling what you're telling people. And whenever you do that, you're exuding leadership, which is also going to create more leaders, which is going to help with momentum. So it's this cascading effect. So let me read this real quick to you guys. Leaders make themselves responsible for helping their followers take action. That can be difficult because followers often cannot envision the future as the leader does. They can't picture what's best for the team. They lose track of the big picture. Why? Because vision has a tendency to leak, so we can get in those low moments. Something very important to do in those low moments, if you can't find the belief, find someone who does have it. Go watch some diamond documentaries, figure out what's holding you back, why you don't have the belief, why you're feeling discouraged. But have that buddy that you can go to, or your upline, or someone who can pour that belief back into you, because we all have those moments. Leaders are stewards of the vision, so what should they do to bridge the vision gap between them and their followers? The temptation for many leaders is to merely communicate about the vision. Don't get me wrong, communication is certainly important. Good leaders must communicate the vision clearly, creatively, and continually. So we always need to be speaking that vision to our leaders, to our level ones, to our downline. The leader's effective communication of the vision makes the picture clear. So it gives them a picture, it gives them an idea of which direction to go. But that is not enough. The leader must also live the vision, so you've got to model it. The leader's effective modeling of the vision makes the picture come alive. So if you're wanting your team to make more videos, you've got to make more videos, and which is going to lead to momentum. It's going to make them more into a leader, and it's going to help with momentum. Whatever it is, post different things. Become a product of the product. Be a health expert, whatever it is. If you want them to learn to lead and to grow, then you've got to too. You've got to learn to lead and to grow. You have to do some personal studies with your do a team study with your 5 leaders. We're doing that right now, and it's working really, really awesomely. I have a group of 5 leaders that I'm doing a leadership study with, and you can easily pick off 10, 15, 20 people to do a study with, but it's got to be intimate so they can rely on one another, and they have to be 100% committed, because they're not going to, I mean, if you're not committed, then you're not going to really grow. So that was my rule, was they had to be 100% committed, and I wanted to keep it small. But by doing this, I'm creating more leaders, and that's ultimately helping with momentum. It's keeping people plugged in. It's keeping that team culture going, because we all need to grow. It is so, so important to grow. There's a story that this brings back to me with what I'm talking about. There was a World War II, he ended as a major, but he started off as a platoon leader. His name was Dick Winters. I don't know if y'all have heard of him. But this was after D-Day, and he was leading a group of paratroopers, and they landed in Germany, and they were overcome by machine gun fire. And so they immediately went to the ditches and on each side of the road, and they were paralyzed by fear, basically, because there was machine gun fire everywhere. What Dick Winters tried to do, he was trying to get them to get up and to go, because they were going to die if they stayed there. So he was trying to rally them up. He was trying to encourage them with his words. He was trying to kick them, make them do everything he could to get them up out of the ditches. He went from one side to the other side, guarding himself from gunfire, trying to get both sides out of the ditches, and nobody would get out of the ditches. The only thing that got them out of the ditches was whenever he got out of the ditch and started to go. He took the front line, and he was leading them out, and that's when they all got up and they started to move, and they got out of it. And so that, to me, paints a really good picture of what modeling does and what leadership does. And they all moved. That's what momentum is. They all moved. They got up and they moved. And I'm sure they all learned a lot that day too. So I think that kind of covers everything. Those are the things that works for us, Emily. And I hope that helped you guys. I hope it encouraged you guys. There's seasons to everything, and everyone's going to do things differently, but this has worked really well for us.
Girl, Emerald in 5 months. I believe anything that comes out of your mouth. Y'all are awesome. And of course, I love Tara. She's one of my Plexus besties. So I love her. And I love your heart and your story. It's so super motivating. My husband's on the call listening too. So we're just taking notes of things that we can change up, and maybe get people to stay around for the long haul and not get as overwhelmed. I love the video page. You guys watching, I saw a bunch of head nods yeah, that's something we need. So thank you so much.
Because when you add people, when someone says they want to do the business, it's so overwhelming sometimes. You've got all this information to learn. There's baby steps. There's things that get lost. I have team members that would tag them in a few files and then nothing else, and you lose that duplication, of that training. And so that so far has been working extremely well.
I love that. So my question, I guess the only question I have, those videos that you talk about, are those all made by you, or did you pick and pull 25 videos that you were like, yes, this is what?
Yeah. So this idea was given to me from someone else. And so it was a combination of different leaders. There's this Melissa Eichenhorst, there's Sarah Marble, there's product videos. There's a video of I do that explains the products. There's how to communicate to people, how to talk to people, how to overcome, I'm not losing weight, just different aspects, and it's it helps you breathe a little bit. It's all there if they just go to the site.
Now, maybe I'm taking this a step further. Are your 25 videos lumped into categories, these 5 will focus on this or anything like that? Or is it just
numbered? It's just numbered, and there's no tagging involved. They go in, it stays in order, so they can just go down the line.
That's speaking my OCD language, girl. I love that. Awesome.
Whenever my friend told me about this, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do it. And
I don't know why I never thought of something like this. I make videos all the time, but to have them in one place is genius. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. I know that a lot of us watching this, we add people and we're like, well, what do we do? What do we do next? Even me, I've been doing this for 2 years and I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, well, that doesn't work for me. So I think it's nice to have new ideas, fresh ideas. So we really appreciate you.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much.
Pour that belief. That's, I
Yes.
mean, they can see all these files, they can see all the videos and whatever, but if they know that they can do it and they see that business opportunity, they start to dream a little bit, then they'll stick with it. Whereas if they don't have that belief, they don't have that dream, they don't have, you know, the belief in those 4 things, then that's so much easier to not do it.
No, I completely agree. I think the first time when I first got my Plexus Lexus, I was in Virginia and most of my team is in Texas and California. So they weren't around me and it was hard for them to really believe what was happening for our team. And when my Virginia teammates came over and they saw that Lexus, I mean, so many of them went straight to gold and senior gold right after that because they were just like, okay, this is, oh my gosh, like I'm physically touching like this vehicle, like that's crazy. So I definitely agree that building belief is where it's at. The list of 25 videos that she talks about is something that she created for her team that don't you worry, I will be duplicating that. I will make us a video, 25 video page for training. So stay tuned for that. You didn't miss anything, Jesse. We'll have one coming soon. She was just sharing her ideas. So thank you, Danielle. Seriously.